When the grid collapses, the city transforms into a hunting ground. You believe you are secure behind locked doors and heavy curtains. You are wrong. To a predator scanning the pitch-black skyline, your window is not a shield, it is a lighthouse. A single photon bleeding through a hairline crack broadcasts your coordinates to every scavenger and marksman within a mile. You are not hiding, you are signaling. In a total blackout scenario, light is not a luxury, light is a death sentence. Most of you fail this test before you even start because you are too lazy to leave the couch. You inspect your defenses from the inside, trusting a piece of fabric to save your life. That is a fatal error. You must red team your own perimeter. Wait until 3 a.m., turn on your brightest tactical light inside the safe room, go outside, walk 50 yards back, and look up. What you will see is the halo effect. Standard residential curtains are designed for privacy, not light discipline. They hang loose, they breathe. Light behaves like a pressurized fluid. It forces its way through the path of least resistance. It bleeds around the edges of the fabric, reflects off the white vinyl of your window frame, and projects a distinct glowing rectangle onto the exterior wall. Here is the physics that gets you killed: contrast ratios. In a functioning city with streetlights, a 5-lumen leak is lost in the visual noise, but in a blackout, ambient luminance drops to near zero. Against that void, even a fraction of a lumen creates a massive contrast spike. Your eye doesn't just see it, it locks onto it. Even through a gap as thin as a razor blade, light waves undergo diffraction. They bend around the obstacle and spread out, amplifying the visual signature. That faint glow isn't just a mistake, it is a target indicator. If you can see the light, a shooter can estimate the center mass standing behind it. You assume the threat needs expensive thermal optics to find you. That is naive. Evolution built a predator effectively designed for the dark. While you sit inside bathed in artificial light, the eyes of the scavenger outside have undergone a biological shift. This is the transition from photopic to scotopic vision. The retina is a dual-sensor instrument. In daylight, we use cones for color and detail. In the dark, we switch to rods, sensors that are colorblind but terrified of photons. These rods rely on a pigment called rhodopsin, or visual purple. It takes up to 45 minutes of total darkness for rhodopsin to regenerate fully. The man waiting in the alley has been in the dark for hours. His gain is cranked to maximum sensitivity. This biological disparity is lethal. Because his eyes are chemically primed for the void, he possesses hypersensitive contrast detection. Your brain filters out the light leak from your window because your domestic lights wash it out. To his adapted rods, that same leak is not a subtle glow. It is a violent, white-hot laceration in the darkness. He sees the anomaly instantly. You are fighting physics and biology, and you are losing on both fronts.
Stop relying on fabric. You need hardware. The first layer of your defensive sandwich is heavy-duty aluminum foil. But here is where 90% of civilians destroy their own shelter. Do not tape the foil directly to the window pane. If you do, you create a thermal trap. The foil reflects heat back into the glass. In direct sunlight, the temperature differential between the center of the pane and the edges will cause stress fractures. The glass will shatter. You have just breached your own perimeter. Mount the foil to the frame, or better yet, a cardboard backing. Face the shiny side out. This is not just about blocking the view. This is about defeating the thermal spectrum. Aluminum has extremely low emissivity. It reflects up to 97% of radiant heat. To a thermal imager scanning the block, your window doesn't look like a heat leak. It looks like a cold void, blending perfectly with the exterior wall. Foil handles the heat signature, but it is fragile. It tears, it has microscopic pinholes. You need structural mass to kill the photons. Your second layer is corrugated cardboard. Cut it to fit the window frame, not the glass. You are building a plug, not a drape. Tape the foil to the outward-facing side of the cardboard. Now seal the entire assembly into the window recess using heavy-duty industrial tape. You must eliminate the air gap between the shield and the wall. This is the frame-within-a-frame technique. This composite approach is superior to any blackout curtain on the market. Fabric is a weave. Under high intensity, light pushes through the fibers. Cardboard is a dense, fibrous mat. When combined with aluminum, it creates a material with near infinite optical density for visible light. Test your work brutally. Wait until night. Have a partner stand outside. Press your highest lumen tactical light directly against the cardboard from the inside. If they see a single pinprick of light, you have failed. Patch it, layer it. Do not stop until your window is a black hole. You have blocked the light, but you are still leaking information. Sound travels through glass as mechanical vibration. Your final layer is a heavy woolen blanket or a quilted moving pad hung over the entire assembly. Crucially, leave a 3-inch air gap between the cardboard plug and this blanket. This dead airspace acts as an acoustic decoupler, breaking the mechanical bridge and dampening the conversation inside. But this layer has a darker purpose: kinetic protection. If a shockwave or a thrown brick shatters that glass, your window becomes a claymore mine aimed at your living room. This is called spalling. The shards become secondary projectiles traveling at high velocity. The dense weave of the blanket acts as a spall liner. It catches this lethal glass shrapnel, turning a shrapnel cone into a pile of harmless dust at the foot of the wall.
Your fortifications are passive. They are useless without active discipline. You can build the perfect shield, but if you crack a door while holding a white flashlight, you have compromised the site. Inside the bunker, you must banish the white spectrum entirely. You operate under red light protocols. This is based on the physics of Rayleigh scattering. Short wavelengths, blue and white, scatter aggressively when they hit air molecules and dust. This creates a photonic dome, a diffuse flow that rises above your location and can be seen for miles, even if the source is hidden. Red light sits at the opposite end of the spectrum. It has a long wavelength. It travels in a straight line and does not scatter easily. It stays where you point it. Biologically, red light is the only part of the visible spectrum that does not bleach rhodopsin. You can read a map or check a weapon with a low-lumen red LED and immediately look into the dark without a blind spot. If you use white light, you reset your adaptation clock to 0, leaving you blind for 30 minutes. Establish light zones. The interior core is for red light only. The perimeter is a no-light zone. If you drop a magazine in the hallway, you find it by feel. You do not strike a match, you do not flip a switch. Being invisible is only half the battle. Now you must manipulate the battle space. You will build a moth trap. A predator's primary weakness is its own predatory instinct. It is hardwired to investigate signs of life. You will give it a sign, just not your own. Identify a secondary location, a derelict apartment across the street, the floor above you, a wrecked car down the block. This is your sacrificial pawn. The light source must be subtle. A steady, bright light is a warning. A faint, intermittent flicker is a mystery. It suggests a failing battery, a candle in the wind. This is irresistible. Use a cheap LED tea light with a dying battery. Use a chem light stick wrapped in layers of duct tape until it barely glows. This tactic weaponizes 2 psychological principles. The first is phototaxis, the deep reptilian urge to move toward a light source in the dark. It is the same reason an insect hits a bug zapper. The second is cognitive tunneling. Under extreme stress, a scavenger's focus narrows to a pinpoint. They lock onto the decoy, the obvious signal, and their peripheral awareness collapses. They will spend their energy, their resources, and their attention on the ghost you created, while you remain a true ghost, watching from the absolute darkness. Do you understand now? This is not about hiding. This is about erasure. You have built a multi-spectrum shield, visible light, thermal radiation, acoustic vibrations. You have severed every connection to the outside world. Your home is no longer a structure on a map. It is a black hole in the grid, a statistical anomaly. Let them hunt. Let them scan the darkness with their naked eyes and their expensive toys. They will find nothing because you are not there. You are a ghost in the machine, and the invisible survive.